In this lesson, we are going to deploy our application into a cloud server. For this tutorial, we will be using Heroku. So the first thing that we need to do is to install the Heroku CLI so that we can use the CLI provided by Heroku to deploy our project seamlessly. You can search for Heroku CLI in Google and it will land you into this page where you can find how to install the CLI depending on your operating system. Once the Heroku CLI is installed, we can open up our terminal and run Heroku login. So here it is showing logged in. So let's get back to the editor. So here it is showing that logged in is done. Now we can create a new project inside our Heroku. The command Heroku create is used to create a new application in Heroku. Here you can see there are three things. The first one is the application ID. This one is the public URL for our application. And the last one is the Git URL where we need to push our code. So now in order to push our code, we need to add a Git remote. Here you can see it's showing not a Git repository. So basically what we need to do is initialize Git into our project. So now let's execute the command again. And here it is showing that it's already set the remote with Heroku to this URL. So now we can successfully push our code for our application by using the Git remote. Now let's move to the next command. While working on development server, we use the manage.py run server command to start the server. But basically when we are on cloud server, in that case, we can't use that. That's where we use our WSGI HTTP server. And gunicorn is an HTTP WSGI server that will do one thing, and that is it will execute our WSGI.py configuration from inside this WSGI.py file, and it will run an HTTP server in cloud for us. So once this is installed, we need to create the requirements.txt file by using the pip-fridge command. So our requirements.txt file is now updated and it should contain all the things that we have used so far. So here is the unicorn, and we are using the version 20.0.4. Now, once this is done, we need to create a file in the root level called procfile. So basically, this file will contain the information that how to start our application. So basically, we are going to use web platform. So mention web first, and then we will say gunicorn space our project name dot the file name wsgi.py. We can get rid of this extension and call wsgi. Now save this and let's test this project locally by using the command Heroku local. So here you can see our process is ended and it's showing no module named fcntl. So basically the module fcntl is called from the gunicorn util.py file. So basically we can't run this file in Windows. However, if you are using Ubuntu or Mac, then in that case you can give it a try. So let's move to the next step, and what we will do now is we are going to add everything and commit our changes and push it to the Heroku server. So let's go ahead and do it. Once you execute the command git push Heroku master, then it will push our code base into Heroku server and it will start compressing the source file and making it ready for the deployment. So here you can see it's collecting all the requirements that we have placed in our requirement.txt file. And after all the installation, you can see it's showing that remote rejected. And here you can see the error message, pre-receive hook declined. So basically this error is occurring due to the collect static. Whenever we push our code into Heroku, it tries to execute the collect static, and in order to do that, we must place the static root inside our settings.py file. Here in our case, we have not added the static root. So let's go ahead and add that. So here we have set static root to os.path.join base directory, static files. So whenever we are working locally in our development server, what we can do for static files is, just like the templates folder inside each project applications. So here you can see inside our project we have an application called ecom, and inside that ecom we have templates, and inside the templates we have another folder with the same name of our application, and inside that we are having our templates. However, when we are deploying our project for the production environment, what we need to do is we need to tell Django from where it can scrap those templates. And basically here we are telling to create a folder called static files, and that will contain all the static files related in our entire project. And Django can fetch those static files from the single folder. So let's save this, and now let's try to push it again. So every time we push our code, it is basically going to rebuild everything from scratch. So here you can see it's done. Our verifying deploy is done. And if we scroll up, here you can see it has executed the collect static method. And here you can see it has created static files folder for us. And it contains all the 132 static files it has found throughout all the applications inside our project. So now let's look at the URL and see what we can find. So here we can see an error called disallowed host. So basically what we need to do is to allow this URL inside our settings.py file so that Django can verify that, yeah, this URL we can serve the content. So let's get back to the editor and fix this. So here inside the settings.py file, we need to place our application URL inside the allowed hosts list. Let's add our localhost IP address too, so that we can also execute this Django program locally. Now save this and we need to push it back to the server again. Our application has been deployed successfully. Now let's get back to the browser, and here you can see it's executing properly now. Just because we don't have something for the root URL, it's showing page not found. Let's go to /ecom, and here you can see can't connect to MySQL server on this port. Basically, this error is occurring because we have not placed any database configuration yet. So let's go to our Heroku, and once you log in, you will get all the applications that you have running right now. And here our application name is Whispering Ocean. So let's open this, and now go to resources, and here you can see Heroku Postgres. Heroku provides lots of add-ons, and we are going to use this add-on called Heroku Postgres, which will let us use the Postgres database along with the Heroku server. So here it has created one database for us, and if we go to settings and go to the database credentials, here we can see all the related information. Now let's copy this one and paste it here. Now there are a few things that we need to change. The first one is we are going to change our DB backend from MySQL to Postgres. The name will be this one. Sorry, this one will be the user. This one is our password. This is our host. Our port will be 5432, and this one is our name of database. Now let's get rid of this thing and now save it. And now we need to push our code all again. Here we can see the exact same error, pre-receive hook declined. Now this error is occurring due to one reason, that we have not added a library called PSYCOPG2, psycop2. So this library is basically an adapter between Python and the Postgres database. So let's add that. And now we need to update our requirements.txt file. There is one thing that we need to fix, and that is it will be PostgreSQL. Now save this and let's push it to the Heroku server. Our application has been deployed successfully. Now let's run the migrations. So here you can see it's running all the migrations. And right now we are running it inside our PostgreSQL database of our Heroku application. Once the migration runs successfully, we are ready to use our application. So let's get back to the browser and see whether it is working or not. So here you can see it's working perfectly well, and we can now, let's try to register a new user. So here it is showing, but there is one issue, that group matching query does not exist. This is happening because we have not added any group called buyer. And in order to do that, we need to create a super user and access the admin. So let's get back to the editor and see how we can do that. Here we are running the manage.py create super user command on our Heroku instance. So let's provide an username. So our super user is created successfully. Now we can access the admin panel. Here you can see the Django admin. However, it's looking a little different just because the static files for this page is not working. Here you can see it's showing status cancelled or 404. It's because we have not added any static file handling inside our urls.py file. So let's get back to the editor and figure out how we can do that. Go to the urls.py file, and here, just like this one, we need to add another one for static URL and static root. And this will handle all the static URLs for us. Now we need to push all again. After the redeployment, you can see it's working perfectly now, and all the static files are loading properly. Now let's log in. And here inside groups, we need to create 2 new groups. Now we can log out from our admin panel, and let's go to our application, and here let's create a new user. And here our account is created, and here it is showing your orders will be available here. So right now we have created an account for a buyer. In order to create a seller account, we need to place a link after this, where we can say that if you want to create a seller account, then go to this link. We have already created a template, as well as we have some view for that. Okay, so it's called Register Merchant. So here you can see it's showing Join as Merchant. We need to create a link so that someone visiting the register page can also go to register-merchant. So this is how we can deploy our Django application in cloud by using the Heroku CLI.